Go.
Welcome to MGO Bucks. We are in the 1st of December here with Diego, Jason, and Matt. And we are here. My name's Nate. Please like and subscribe if you like this channel. I greatly appreciate that. And we are here to talk about the playoff committee. Are they fraudulent? Are they fair? Did they get it right? Let's talk about this.
Well,
Let's talk about this because I know we don't all four agree on this.
Here's Matt and Diego. Here's what we should do because we were on this group text earlier today. Nate has some very far out ideas. I think Nate should go and tell us what he thinks and let us comment.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
That's a great idea. Let's do that.
I thought you'd never ask. But in any case, I think we're talking about this, but all in the context of is Ohio State going to get in the playoffs? And are they going to save their season after such a dismal showing at home versus Michigan? That, as a Michigan fan, that's really what my biggest fear. It's where all my stress comes from. I don't want to see Ohio State get in and get out of a whole year's worth of me ragging on them, which is your birthright. It's your birthright when you win in that game. And if Ohio State gets in the game and then they do well and we face each other and possibly play each other, it could just all go south. So let's pull up the rankings real quick, just as reference. So look at this. Here's what I think. We have, the top four are good. We've got Georgia number 1, Michigan number 2, TCU number 3, USC number 4. That's fine. 5, Ohio State. Good with that too. My problem really with the committee is with number 6, Alabama. And I think this is kind of where the conspiracy theories come in. Alabama, and Joel Klatt agree. A lot of people sort of agree. Tennessee is number 7, right? Why is Tennessee number 7? They've got the same record.
They should be now with their quarterback out.
Yeah, well, sure. Good point. If you want to say Tennessee is behind Alabama, even though they beat Alabama, great, because their quarterback's out. They're not as good a team. You want to re-rank them. Okay, excellent. So the only thing I'm saying is be consistent with that. Let's call that the Hendon Hooker rule, because Hendon Hooker's out, right?
The Hooker
Hendon
rule.
Hooker.
I like it.
It's the Hooker rule. So the Hooker rule says if Hendon Hooker's out, that means they can be placed under Alabama, even though they beat Alabama because Hooker's out. So why doesn't that apply to number 8, Penn State? I mean, I would say I could make an argument that Penn State, maybe not Clemson, Penn State, Kansas State, Utah, these are teams that are probably better than Tennessee with Hendon Hooker out. That's the Hooker rule. Why does the Hooker rule only apply to Alabama? Why is number 7 Tennessee not all the way under Utah? Why is Tennessee not number 11? If the Hooker rule is in effect.
That's easy. It's because they beat Alabama, and anyone who beats Alabama gets ranked way too high for a long time, and it takes a while for that to dissipate.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I know this. Not everyone agrees with this, but I still feel like the whole point is the committee
is
coercing this ranking just in case they want to put Alabama in. That's my point.
So ranking.
Who are they coercing themselves?
Yes, they're setting it up just in case there's some chaos up here between 1, 2, 3, and 4. They can slip in the teams that they really want to see. I mean, granted, I think they'd be okay if USC's in, but they want TCU out of there. Let's just be honest. They want TCU out of there. It's a big black mark. They're angry with TCU for winning all this. Keep winning. They want them out. What do you guys think? What do you think about the Hooker rule?
You want them out because you want Ohio State. Yeah.
Of course you do.
Well,
let me hear you.
Don't all talk at the same time, guys.
I want to hear Diego.
I'm trying to listen to one of our commenters who said we talk over each other. So I'm waiting for my name. I'm waiting for my name to be called.
I've got a question then for you guys. The committee, are they ranking on what's been done on the field, or are the playoff rankings based on what do they think or who they think is going to do well in the playoffs and who should provide a challenge during the playoffs?
I think the answer to that is it's both. There is a Hendon Hooker rule, if you want to call it that. I think that, they made clear many years ago when this thing started that they don't just judge it on what was done on the field. They judge it on the quality of the team heading into the playoffs. So that's why you have teams that could, be lower than where they otherwise would have been, like Tennessee. I have 2 words to respond to Nate's conspiracy theories about the committee being this evil. I believe he called it an evil and weaselly committee
Illuminati.
several times on text, which I thought it was a joke, but I'm not so sure. I think he might be serious. Anyway, I have 2 words to answer his concerns about, for example, where Alabama is in relation to Tennessee. So Alabama is only 1 spot ahead. Tennessee, he thinks, should be 15, or at least that's what he said on text today.
That's more than 2 words.
No, the 2 words are judgment call. Judgment call. There is no conspiracy. These are judgment calls. These things are not factual. These things are opinions on who, the committee members think are the best teams. And whereas you could think that Tennessee is the 15th best team, I could think they're 8 or 9, and the committee thinks they're 7. But the reality is Alabama, like I said earlier today, should be ranked ahead of Tennessee. Maybe even Penn State should be ranked ahead of Tennessee. I'm not so sure about Clemson or K-State or the rest, but the point is these are judgment calls. These aren't some scheme by the committee to get ratings, in my opinion. They aren't schemes. They're trying to do the best they can to do what they think, to rank these teams the way they think they deserve to be ranked. I don't believe in the monetary incentive. I really don't. And that's why they're making it 12 in a couple of years, because they want this dumb conspiratorial argument that exists in the minds of the Nate Lesters of the world and others to go away.
More games, more money.
Okay, and that's another way to make the money that you're talking about.
So Matt, let's let Matt get in here. Matt, what do you think about the hooker rule? Is it being applied evenly across the field?
This is not the hooker rule. This is the Kenyon Martin rule that was established back when Cincinnati was number 1 in the polls at the end of the regular season. They were number 1 in RPI, but Kenyon Martin was out with an injury in the Conference USA tournament. The Bearcats were sent to the South region as a 2 seed, and I was completely fine with it because they're not the same team without their star player. Same thing here.
Agreed.
They also said it. The college football committee has said it. It's not the basketball committee saying it and you thinking the football committee is doing the same.
I'm just saying this is a rule. It's been.
No, I agree. I'm saying, but the football committee has been explicit in saying this since the BCS ended.
Yeah. The only thing I would say differently is I think that, right or wrong, the committee is placing a lot of weight on what happens at the very end of the year. So, for instance, USC being ahead of us, we both have 1 loss. If we would have lost to Michigan a few weeks back, and I think that we would still potentially be number 4. Because if you look at the body of work, we have 2 better wins than they do, and we both have 1 loss. And their loss was a closer loss, but our loss was to a better team. So, you can weigh those things against each other. But I think the main reason they're ahead of us is because we lost the last game of the year.
Absolutely.
And they won the last 2 games of the year.
You got no momentum. Yeah. Post loss, of course.
Yeah. So you can't lose late. That's just the way it works.
Previous ranking also matters. And that's affected by when you lose, right? So of course, if you're already lower than a team, generally, if everything, if those teams don't lose, generally that the team that was above in rank or higher in ranking stays higher in ranking. Generally, there's occasional situations where they flip-flop teams, but they try not to do that, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about like the coaches poll and the AP poll where they're just junk. That's why the ranking at the beginning of the year actually matters so much. Like they say that they rip up the rankings every week and they start from scratch. So if that's legitimately the case, then stuff like that shouldn't matter, because if you're looking at it, you're like, okay, who's the best win that Ohio State has had? Penn State, their top 10 team. Who's the best win that USC has had? That would be Oregon State by 3, and they're like 15 or so in the rankings, I think.
Yep. Look on this page here.
Yeah, and then our number 2, we both beat Notre Dame, so that's a wash. And so the difference is, we've had a better strength of schedule. We've we're the only team in the country that beat every single team that we played by double digits until our loss. So, and offensively, we're a little bit better than them, almost identical. Defensively, we're a lot better than them. The only thing that they're better than us at is their turnover ranking, which was just absolutely phenomenal. That's the one thing that they do well in defense.
I've got a rule that I want to throw out. We've got the Kenyon Martin rule, which I like, Matt. That's great. That was a great callback, by the way. That's better than the Hendon Hooker rule.
There should be a different sport, but okay.
But same right, same thought process. There should be the MGO Bucks rule, whereas the winner, or I should say the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game each year should not go in the playoffs. That winner of that represents the nobody else. I'm sorry. You got to win that game to go forward.
Yeah, it's not going to be a problem here in a couple of years, but while we still have this 14 playoff, I mean, I tend to agree with that overall. I really do. I just don't know who else you put in.
Well, the only reason the SEC didn't have a problem putting in two teams.
Yes, that's the only reason I would disagree with that.
Or the committee didn't have a problem.
They might get in by default.
Yeah.
In this ranking, if you don't want Ohio State to get in because they didn't win their conference, then Alabama's going to get in.
In a 4-team playoff, there should be one team represented from anybody with a conference championship.
Hold on. Hey, what you just said makes no sense. Sorry to cut you off, Jason.
Okay.
You just said Alabama's going to get in.
No.
That wouldn't make sense. They didn't win their conference either.
I didn't say that.
Right, exactly.
Nate.
Oh, Nate did. I don't pay attention when Nate talks.
Just saying, if you have that rule that in the Big Ten, if Ohio State and Michigan play, the loser of that game can't make
that's how it should be.
It would have to apply to every
if that applied right now, number 5 Ohio State would not be there, and then number 6 Alabama would be the next in.
No, number 6 Alabama would not be in either because they didn't win their conference.
It would be Tennessee, but we have the Hendon Hooker rule, right? You can't.
No team that didn't win their conference would be able to get in.
Nobody would be in here.
They would have to apply to all conferences.
Then we'd be putting Clemson in. They're the only one, the highest ranked team that's playing.
I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm saying it would have to apply to all conferences. You can't have it be a Big Ten rule where the Ohio State Michigan loser can't go to the fucking playoff, but every other conference can have 2 teams. That doesn't make sense.
But this is going to be a moot point when they expand the playoffs anyways, right?
Wait, it's not a moot point?
It's a moot. You're a freaking attorney. It's a moot point.
No, I'm saying that because every asshole in the country says mute point. And I cringe.
2 pet peeves. Don't put your shopping cart away and say mute instead of moot.
Trust me, it drives me crazy.
That's I will stab you if you do either of those.
That's why I said it, because it drives me fucking nuts. That and alumni versus alumnus and alumna. But anyway.
All right, people are falling asleep.
Anyway. So speaking of this, and let's take this forward a little bit, but we can put the Hendon Hooker rule away because I'm not going to agree with you guys. I think that's a sham. But
Nate, can I address one other point you made?
As long as it's not punctuation related.
No, it's not punctuation related. Although I do have some punctuation issues about things you've texted. So no, what I was going to say was earlier today we had an argument, and it was a pretty fierce argument where you said that you, and correct me if I'm wrong here.
A fierce argument, right?
I don't want the audience to think that you're a moron unless there's good reason for them to think you're a moron. Okay? So tell me if I'm wrong here. You said that if TCU and USC lose, okay, there is no conceivable way that Alabama could still be in the top 4 and make the playoff. Is that correct?
Not conceivable based on logic, but the committee is so corrupt, in my opinion. I wouldn't put anything past it.
We're back to the word corrupt. Oh my God, and Jason actually is supporting this.
TCU loses, they would have 1 loss in their conference championship. How is Alabama getting in over that? They have 2 losses compared to a 1-loss TCU, and TCU still has a top 10 win over Kansas State if they lose, right? They would have a better loss and a better win all at once with one team.
Kansas State's not going to be top 10 after they lose.
This is all Joel Klatt information I gleaned
earlier. Kansas State's going to be probably like
credit.
12 to 15 after they lose, though. It'll be their 4th loss.
Yeah, Alabama's out.
No, I'm talking about Kansas State.
Yeah, but Kansas State, they wouldn't judge it after. They wouldn't judge it by what they do after. They would judge it by what they were going in.
No, they don't. They judge at the end of the rankings by the team on the final ranking.
So let's get it on record, Diego.
In the
If
final ranking,
number
they're not
3
going to be
TCU
10.
loses, then you think Alabama has a chance to get in based on that?
Sadly, I think it's possible. Do I agree? I agree with you that they
You
should
must think.
not. They
You
should
must
not.
think they're as evil as I
I
do.
don't care about.
No, I don't think they're evil.
We're talking
I don't think
about
they're
whether it's
evil
going
at
to
all.
happen. Is there a chance? That's what we're talking about.
Okay. Yes, there's a chance, but no, I don't agree. I think TCU should get in even if they lose,
What
unless they get
percentage
blown.
chance would you give it?
Alabama getting in
Yes.
if USC and TCU lose.
Yeah. I mean, if they it'd have to be 2 blowouts, of course.
Well, okay, if it's blowouts, I don't know, 50-50. If it's not blowout, 30% maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they'll start. What they'll do, not because they're worried about ratings or money or anything else or corruption or that they're corrupt, but because it'll be a close call, they will start to go through the entire schedule and they will evaluate the wins and losses again very carefully to decide, does a one loss TCU trump the performance of a 2-loss Alabama team? And I think that's what will make, obviously I don't even know how many are on the committee, but that vote will determine who gets in. And I think it's very conceivable that they would put in Alabama, even though I agree with Nate, it's the wrong choice.
So I think what you guys are not thinking about, the thing that when we were talking about this last time, the thing that I didn't think about either is the way that Alabama is going to get in isn't just with TCU and USC losing. They need Michigan to lose and Georgia to lose, not because they won't be out of the top 4, but because Tennessee, had the win over, because Alabama didn't play Georgia this year, but they did play Tennessee. So Tennessee beat Bama. And if Tennessee, and LSU also beat Bama. So if LSU beats Georgia, that's going to make Bama look better. And if Michigan loses again, that's going to make Ohio State look a little bit worse. And so it gives Alabama a little bit better of a chance to get in, not just the TCU and USC losing. Especially I think, both those other 2 teams losing, it's going to need to be something like all 4 teams losing for Bama to get in, I think, outside of major blowouts.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you that they need a lot of help, but again, they've got that whole SEC is the best conference, thing going for them, and they have 2 losses. So they lost to Georgia. Who else did they lose to? Tennessee, right?
Tennessee. Mm-hmm.
Right. And Tennessee obviously is down because they lost Hooker. I don't know. I mean, again, maybe it's less than 30%, but with the 3 and 4 seeds losing, I think it's not,
Tennessee and Bama.
Right. I'm saying
Tennessee and
towards
LSU lost to Bama.
Right, but I'm saying with the 3 and 4 seeds right now losing this week, I think the chances of Alabama getting in just with those 2 losses is higher than single digits. I'd say if not 30%, it's 20%. It's not nothing. It's not insignificant.
And what about if just USC loses?
Oh, their chances are 0.
No, I'm just saying. Listen to this though. What if USC loses, but then Michigan loses? Because now, first of all, Blake Corum is out.
Yeah, I think they're running. I think their running back is every bit as good, but that's just.
I understand, but still, he was the best player on the team. He's out. Kenyon Martin treatment is going to be in full effect against Michigan. If Michigan, let's say Michigan loses by 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns to Purdue. Yes.
Does the whole starting team miss the bus to the stadium?
Hey, I will.
Maybe their other running back gets hurt too.
I will say
maybe JJ McCarthy throws a bunch of picks, but let's say Michigan, for whatever reason, gets blown out and USC loses. So at that point, our loss looks even worse, and then Alabama jumps Ohio State and gets the 4 spot.
It's possible, I guess, but
I'm just saying it has to be something crazy like that. Michigan has to get blown out, and USC, and really only one team has to lose. if they're going to jump Ohio State, that's going to
Too
have
many
to,
crazy things have to happen.
Yeah, very unlikely things. But,
or as Nate would like to say right now, but he's holding back.
Corrupt committee.
Corruption would have to happen.
Yes, money back.
Corruption is happening.
CBC, the CBC committee.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right.
There's some good comments, Nate.
Exactly. I was going to say, let's get to those.
Yes.
All right, guys.
I like it, man. Inside the end zone's all over.
Inside the end
tonight.
zone. What's up? What's up with you? It's a good one. Still think Michigan is going to make it in the national championship, even if they lost to Purdue. But don't think they're losing. I think they're winning Big Ten championship.
If you lose to Purdue, you should probably have to skip next year.
You're right.
Yeah.
Michigan's going to get in. Even
I guess we have to skip.
Even in the case that Matt was trying to make just now.
I mean, good on Purdue for winning the West and being where they are, but they're not very good.
Yeah. Yep.
I wonder what they would do though if JJ McCarthy got hurt.
We would all cry.
Would they move him out?
Wildcat.
Exactly.
If he lose because their backup quarterback transferred.
Well, okay, forgive my ignorance. Are we certain that putting your name in the portal means
he's already transferred, Diego?
Oh, but so Cade is definitely not on the team anymore.
He's going to Iowa.
Let me address this. Let me address this from inside the end zone.
Exactly.
I mean, every team, good team, has a close win every year to a team they probably shouldn't have a close. I don't name me a team in the last forever that hasn't had a close win against a team.
Well, Georgia's not quite as good as they were last year. I'm willing to.
Ohio State has a loss, though, man. I'm talking about.
I know, but technically they had no close wins. But we did have a horrible loss. So yes, an undefeated team with no close wins is much more rare.
Well, you had a somewhat close win against Maryland until fucking 5 seconds.
Saying,
well, it was close against Penn State until the last couple minutes of the game.
I'm talking 5 seconds with Maryland.
Yes, inside the end zone.
I consider double digits a blowout.
This is a good point. This is a good point by inside the end zone. But Michigan should want TCU to beat Kansas State this week because Michigan wants to play TCU. I mean, I know every team will take on anyone. That's the attitude. But I want them to take on TCU. I don't want them to have to play either. I don't want to have to play USC. That's chances are that would be a tough game.
So I would love to see the University of Michigan lose to Purdue by 3 touchdowns, and then us have a show to talk about Michigan having not made the tournament at all. Because the committee was so disgusted with their performance against Purdue.
That would make me happy. That conversation yourselves.
No, that would never happen, but that would make me happy. Deep down in this rivalry, Ohio State, Michigan, I'm solidly on the Ohio State side. And the only time where I'm and I'm kind of teetering is because Matt is so annoying as an Ohio State fan. It just drives me to Michigan occasionally.
Yeah, but I'm still getting emails 10 times a day about angry Michigan fans that are rubbing it in my face, saying that I was too arrogant with my picks.
Inside the end zone's last comment about what matches up who right now with the Bulls is correct.
Wait, okay.
This one?
Yeah.
So UNC versus Georgia in Peach Bowl.
Yeah.
Michigan versus TCU in Fiesta. Ohio State is probably not going to make it. I don't think they will.
No, I'm good with that.
Yep. And Alabama, they're done.
Yep.
TCU loses, I think Alabama's done no matter what. Unless it really is an evil committee like I've been saying.
You can't argue that it is an evil committee and then say, but they're done because they're not an evil committee. Which one is it? Which one is it? You're so annoying. You're on the fence.
I'm not.
You're on the fence. You're not. You're arguing both sides.
Hold on. We got a comment directly.
Exactly. And they're addressing Matt. So this is really good.
Matt, take it. It's yours.
Can you read that, Matt?
No, you read it. I'm on my phone, so I can't
Matt
see
doesn't mean to sound like a salty apple. The fact of the matter is Michigan fans advocated for Michigan involvement in the playoffs after a loss. If it's a close game. If it's close. I like it.
I like the direct comments at us.
Oh, that's beautiful, especially if they're going to Diego or Matt.
I haven't had any because everyone
Nobody wants
they
to hear
agree
you
with me.
talk. You talk so darn much.
No, they agree with me. That's what it is. It's as simple as that. I'm logical, and people agree with me.
And I think Michigan's going to do better against Georgia this year. They're not going to get blown out.
Wow, way to go out on a limb.
No, yeah, but it could happen. I mean, we didn't think it would happen last year, but they did.
All right.
See, your best chance is probably having Ohio State in there to beat Georgia and take them out for you because no one else is going to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only good thing about Ohio State possibly making it. You'd have to play Georgia, and I think Ohio State would get pretty creamed. That's not a good matchup for Ohio State.
They aren't last year's Georgia.
Why is it not a good matchup, Nate?
Tough football, tough running, tough defense. Ohio State no likey that. They like to play the arm tackle kind of.
They like patty cake.
Yeah. They like the they like to throw the ball around and not much touching. Not too much touching in this football games. You know what I mean?
Sounds like Ohio State football and your marriage.
I knew there was something coming there. I knew something was coming.
You're welcome.
All right, so
Michigan blowout win has no way close. I love the only 5 plays argument. Yeah. Let's talk about why every game is mostly decided on 5 plays. They say only 5 plays, but those plays and the loss was real. Yes, it is true. We have been hearing about, oh my gosh, Ohio State only lost on 5 plays. All the rest of the plays, Ohio State was playing real good, right? But
we were playing good.
I am not sure I agree with that.
Damn 5 plays.
Everyone always wants to take out the losers. Always want to take out the top 5 plays of the game. I'll tell you that.
I think Chris
losers complain about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
Yes, that was a good quote.
All right, do we know what movie that's from? Not you, Jason. What movie was that from?
I know what
The Rock.
That's from.
Well, say it.
I said it's The Rock.
You said The Rock.
The Rock.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
I
right.
didn't hear it.
You have to go with the Irish accent of Sean Connery, though.
No.
Losers always whine about them.
Not you.
Now, Jared's saying LSU a few years ago, and yes,
that was towards my comment, right?
Yep. What was your comment?
That who in forever has had that undefeated year? They haven't had a close win, and somebody maybe they shouldn't have had.
Yeah, I mean there hasn't been
LSU.
too many undefeated seasons anyway.
Right.
So.
But that's the outlier to have a season where you don't have a close victory over somebody.
Well, how bad did LSU beat Alabama in the regular season that year? I thought that was still relatively close.
I don't know. I mean, that's why I was kind of asking. Like, I don't recall, but of course, I don't remember all this stuff. I'm hoping one of you guys or one of our
I don't remember, but
here, no.
I think
I thought that
maybe,
was a close
and I can't remember if Alabama in 2020, they were a pretty dominant team too.
Sure.
I mean, they took Ohio State to the woodshed, and that was a good Ohio State team.
Yeah, I bet that they had double digits all their wins too. I bet.
Thank you, Jared.
If only there was some way we could look this up. If only.
I'm too lazy. I want one of the commenters to do that and give us a link. We don't have a producer.
So Alabama in 2020, you guys were asking how bad they beat. So LSU was supposed to be on.
I think it was the year LSU won the national championship. He was asking.
So was that 21?
It was the 19 season, but the 20.
Oh,
20.
Okay. Yeah. So hold on. So 19, LSU beat Alabama 46-41.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, I was right.
I like close. Antoine's got a laughy emoji. That's going right towards Matt.
Towards Matt or towards my comment about
towards Matt. Okay. Says that's not much of an argument. Most football games, they're about a half full of plays that cause someone to win or lose. That's so true. And you can even go back to a lot of the blowout wins that Ohio State had for Michigan. Sorry, go ahead.
I do agree with you in general. You can't just say take the 5 plays out. But when they're sort of fluky, then you can, because Vegas would have a rematch in a neutral site, not even at home, as Ohio State being favored, and that was before the quorum news came out. So
wait, what was fluky about that whooping though?
The plays, the more I was reading and watching the film, a lot of the plays were just like a corner, missing a tackle. And I mean, you miss a tackle on an 8-yard pass, you shouldn't be getting a 68-yard touchdown. I mean, it's just stupid plays like that. And then, I mean, obviously there was lots of other offensive problems where we didn't make our third downs and stuff. That was probably the biggest problem. I mean, we should have been up big in the first half, so it shouldn't have even had a chance in the second half to even come back, because they would have been playing catch up. But we only had the 3-point lead going into the half. That was really what lost us the game.
Well, Amos Automotive Paint and Restoration.
Hold on, let Nate pull it up. Come on, this is a professional production here, guys.
Okay, all right. You're Nate. You're muted, buddy.
You're muted.
You were coughing, I bet.
So professional.
You were coughing.
For you
That's
guys.
professional. To mute
Do you
yourself.
guys think USC has a chance to beat Georgia, or are they too good for USC to handle?
That's why you play the game. There's always a chance. Is there a chance? Yes. Is it likely? No.
I don't know. I mean,
so
they've got a
many
Heisman
people-
quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Defense.
didn't
Awesome.
Oklahoma
State
have
stuff.
Heisman quarterbacks almost every year, and they would get to the playoffs and get smoked? This is exactly
Yeah,
like
it is
that.
kind of a Big
The
12
same
team.
terrible Oklahoma defense. It's just in a USC uniform. It's no difference.
I don't think they had anyone like Caleb Williams, but
Oh no.
well, I guess yes, they did. Okay.
You
Yes,
mean
they did.
you mean-
Exactly.
they didn't have
Exactly
anyone
like him.
traitorous? That's traitorous. And
I could see Georgia handling them, though. I could see Georgia handling USC.
Definitely.
all right.
Let's
So
see if
I mean, they
it's
had Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. You don't think those guys?
yeah, those guys never played.
They
Did
were
anything
okay.
Yeah.
They're average.
all right. So
Amos Automotive Paint and Restoration. Yeah,
Right.
but the point
Agree.
is, just look at their stats minus those 5 plays. They still won, and doesn't change the butt whooping.
Yep.
I like
or whopping as was written.
Dude, people are typing quickly on their phones. Like, give them a break.
Hey, whopping, whooping. It's all good by me. It was definitely a whopping and a whooping.
Notre Dame
yeah,
and
but-
Marcus Freeman.
Amos is spot on. The reason why I pointed his comment out is because I think he's spot on. You can't lose by what was it, 20 something, and claim that it was a couple plays. You can't claim that.
We all agree.
I'm going to claim it.
Only
Mr.
because
Buckeye
you're
is
Captain
gonna claim it.
Muckraker, but not because you believe
Listen,
it. Next.
as an Ohio State
Exactly.
Move on,
sort of
Diego.
fan here, I wish that weren't true, but it's true.
Antoine says, you know what's funny? How people were dragging Michigan for its weak non-conference schedule when the risk is not worth the reward, in my opinion. Now all of a sudden, Michigan has the best 2 wins. That's a great point that I was making too. I mean, I
was
totally
making
agree.
that also.
There's no benefit to scheduling tough non-conference
They're lucky they play in a soft
anymore.
No.
Michigan didn't, and look where they're at. You go
Well,
undefeated.
no, it
you're
helped
good.
because if you guys would have lost the game, you guys probably wouldn't be. I mean, that could potentially screw you. And if you would have had a good non-conference win, and it helps buffer that loss. So it goes both ways. So it's easier to go undefeated, but if you slip up once, having a good non-conference win can help you stay ranked. I mean, that's what happened. Remember when we made it to the playoffs when we lost to Penn State?
Yeah.
We had a big non-conference win that year, and that's the reason why we made the playoffs.
And you beat Michigan.
Question then on that, is the win over Notre Dame this year a good non-conference win for Ohio State?
What's the ranking?
Notre Dame just got beat by USC, but they're still ranked number 21.
They've got 3 losses.
It's a
3 or
good, not a
4.
great win.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it's
solid
okay.
win. It's a solid win.
Okay, I agree with Matt. Okay.
Well, for non-conference,
Okay.
you could argue it's a very good win.
The top 25 non-conference. win.
Okay.
How's that working out for you? Is Ohio State in the playoffs right now with their 1 loss? After that good
in
Notre
Bucks
Dame
roll.
non-conference?
And
Well,
You're the
it has
one-
nothing to do with our non-con.
Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered if you hadn't played Notre Dame or you had. Ohio State would probably be
Yeah,
in the same
in this
position they are right now.
situation, but there's plenty going back every year. There's plenty of arguments where people get screwed because they didn't have a good non-conference win to pull them in to make up for a loss.
That's true. There's been undefeated teams that have gotten in. Auburn. I mean, this is BCS, but still.
Yeah.
Auburn didn't get in. Several undefeated teams have not gotten in.
Yeah.
Did we skip
I
the
like
Marcus
this.
Freeman thing?
I skipped it just to go to this one because it was
Okay.
relevant to our last one.
Okay.
Did it benefit Notre Dame or Oregon to play a tough non-conference schedule? It's already tough to go undefeated. Just sit back and eat your cupcakes.
Well, Notre
like
Dame, we know, is always vastly overrated every year by reputation. They get ranking and they always lose. So it doesn't help them because they're already like overvalued.
Hey, Matt,
Other people
why don't
maybe.
you take this? Inside the End Zone says, what do you guys think about Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman? And I'm asking you because you are the Buckeye alumni.
I think
Ask Diego if you need to know which one to use.
I think that Notre Dame is started off very rough, and then I think Marcus Freeman did a really good job turning it around, and he basically won the ACC this year. I mean, he beat everyone, all the top teams in the ACC that Notre Dame beat, and their only losses were to one of the best teams in the Big Ten and one of the best teams in the Pac-12. So, I think he did a commendable job, other than those couple early losses to really bad teams. But I mean, you can't argue with some of the top wins. Like, I thought that they were only going to have like 4 wins on the year or something after those early losses.
Who are the bad teams they lost to? I know they lost to Marshall.
One of them
right?
was like Stanford or something, and like
Stanford.
Marshall. Yeah, they were awful teams.
They lost to Marshall,
Really,
earlier on.
yeah,
Marshall
Stanford
and
and Marshall were really bad losses.
Mhm.
But
Imagine if they hadn't lost those 2 games, though. I mean, they would
Yeah.
only have 2 losses right now.
Yeah, but
I mean, even
but
with
they beat
those losses, they're
Clemson,
ranked
and they beat.
#1.
Yeah, they beat, was it North Carolina and Clemson they also beat? I mean, they've had some really good wins too.
According to your logic, with the non-conference schedule, if they would have beaten those 2 teams, Ohio State would be in the playoffs right now.
I got one comment on Marcus Freeman, and I'm going to say is he's not a piece of crap like Brian Kelly. So there you go.
You mean he doesn't not give a shit about kids who fall off?
There's a lot of things about Brian Kelly.
Towers or whatever and die.
Well, Marcus Freeman's also a very good recruiter too. So I think he's gonna do really well at Notre Dame.
I just don't think Notre Dame's going to be a consistent top 5 team ever again until they get in the conference.
I mean, recruiting is, in my opinion, the key thing. And if someone's
Freeman is doing a good job with recruiting.
Yeah, he is. This is a good one too. How long do you guys believe Ryan Day stays at Ohio State after losing to Michigan twice?
Can I take that one?
Absolutely.
Well, 1 year or more. Depends. He's got to beat Michigan next year. If he doesn't, he's done.
I agree with
Michigan's going to be loaded next year, and it's at Michigan.
Well, he better make sure the NIL trust fund make sure they snag May over from North Carolina, because we are going to need a proven commodity at quarterback, and we're going to pull Justin Fields part due.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you see? I've heard this on a couple different areas. Like, do you guys see Ryan Day as more of an X's and O's, draw it up kind of guy? Because that would be more inclined to be like NFL rather than.
Yeah, I think he's got to pick one job. Are you head coach or offensive coordinator? It's the same problem that we got when the Bengals with freaking Zach. Like, pick one or the other, not both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people seem to agree with that. I mean, there's not many successful head coaches that have won a national championship while also calling the plays. I guess Jimbo Fisher was one of the only ones in the last 10, 15 years that did that.
Is that true?
You have too much stuff on your plate.
It's like being a CEO, but also being the CFO at the same time.
Yeah,
it's not a great.
Micromanaging.
Yeah, it's tough.
Hey, the Commanders are doing it.
And I'm going to say right now, too, if Cincinnati lands Coach Prime, then Day's going to be the second best coach in the state of Ohio.
Hey, listen, Coach Prime, that guy is going to be sought after by a lot of college football teams. So I don't know that Cincinnati is going to get him. I hope they do. I really do. But that guy clearly is shopping himself around.
Of course, he should be.
No, but before he was talking about like making, HBCUs great again or great, whatever. And Jackson State was, where he wanted to be. And then he had that.
Nobody wants to be at Jackson State.
Well, I mean, I get it. He's only making $500,000, but he has a lot of money to begin with. And like, I'm just surprised after that.
You're not a top level athlete or coach like Deion Sanders at the level, Jackson State.
Well, and Cincinnati is it's a stepping stone, though, right? I mean, that's kind of what it's.
They're going to the Big 12. It is, but they're
it's
going
a stepping
to the Big
stone.
12 next
It's
year.
an ejecto job for a better job afterwards. Is basically what that is.
I think Luke Fickell took a sideways move, a lateral move on his career. Like Wisconsin's a middle of the road Big Ten team.
Yeah, whoever goes there is using that job to leave.
They're better than middle of the road. They're usually 4 or 5.
I love this.
Out of 14.
I love this comment though. A loss hurts you far more than someone crying about your schedule. And get ready next season. We got some more delicious cupcakes.
Antoine,
I haven't looked at Michigan's schedule next year. It could be just as bad.
Well, I was going to say the funny thing about the Michigan schedule I mentioned to Nate earlier was you guys played like Colorado or something and blew them out, and everyone thought you were good, and then Vanderbilt beat them worse than you did.
Hey, I know you like that. Yep, and Darby. Yeah, I don't think USC is going to lose either.
Is that tomorrow night, Friday night?
Tomorrow.
No kidding. Damn.
Matt, you're coming over, right?
You're going to have to stay up past
Your wife is not going to tell you last minute, no, you can't.
I have been approved.
Okay, well, I'll buy some beers.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that game is so big tomorrow.
Interesting comment. I didn't know that Justin Fields transferred to Ohio State. He was at Alabama. He was at Georgia. If he was at Alabama, he probably wouldn't have transferred. But
well, they have a lot of talent at quarterback. You never know.
No.
I mean, look at Tua and the Eagles quarterback being there at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts, yeah, he's awesome.
By the way, did you guys see that photo I sent where the Green Bay backup was next to the Eagles starter? And it was Love Hurts.
Yes, that was all over social media as well.
That's pretty good.
It was good.
Yeah, it's so true. So true.
Todd Fortune, Michigan has been built to be good for a long time. I think they've only been good. They've just gotten to be great, right? I mean, I don't think Ohio State has necessarily taken a step back per se. They're still explosive. They are who they are. Michigan just got a little better, or a lot better, I guess you should say.
I love the last name. That's cool. If your last name is Fortune, I mean, that's awesome.
I totally agree. So what do you guys think? Let's talk about what do you think the final rankings are going to be after this weekend? Who wants to give a shot at that?
Who's going to start?
They are now. Bring it up.
Who's going to start? I think JJ should start because he's to the right of Nate. So we've got Nate's son in the picture.
Ask your son what he thinks. Bring him back here. Come on.
He's not really following.
I don't either.
But he's going to be a pilot, by the way. So
the rankings are going to be where they are now.
Oh, wow. Jason. Diego.
All right. So I think that the rankings are going to be where they are now because obviously, and to expound on what Jason's saying, I think TCU is going to win because they have Duggan. Hacksaw is a star, okay? I've been saying that for weeks. Hacksaw is going to win. And I hate to say Caleb Williams is a star. And I don't see him losing twice to Utah. So I can't imagine that things are going to move. So unfortunately, Ohio State is going to be on the outside looking in, wishing that they could keep it closer than 20-something points against Michigan.
Okay, so I think not only is TCU and USC both going to lose, Michigan also is going to lose.
No,
Georgia is going to lose, and Bama is going to get the number 1 seed just to make Nate upset.
Are you taking Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca? Is that what's happening? What is going on?
I just want to come up with a scenario that's going to make Nate's head explode because the committee is going to be doing dirty tricks in the middle of the night.
Committee.
The evil committee will find a way. I'm sure
Kanye
West will be involved
committee.
Yes.
Nate, there was one last comment. Oh, sorry, Matt.
There's a couple.
I was going to say that my actual rankings are going to be. I think it's going to be Georgia, Michigan, USC, and at number 4 will be Ohio State. I think TCU is going to lose because if you recall, they were getting blown out by Kansas State the last time they played, and the only reason they lost was because the quarterback got hurt. and they were down to actually 2 quarterbacks got hurt. They were down to their number 3 quarterback. So they have their second quarterback healthy, and he's actually pretty solid. So I think that with him, as long as he doesn't get hurt again, I think that they should be able to win comfortably against TCU. And I think if you get at least a double-digit win, then it's going to get Ohio State into the playoffs of the 4 seed. And I think, we'll get the matchup with Georgia. We'll take care of them for you guys, so you don't have to worry about it. Then we will beat Michigan in the finals, and Nate will cry because he will be not able to sleep for weeks because he's worried about Ohio State getting that rematch and not being able to rub it in for a year, and he's gonna be miserable for, just he thought that this was his year, but it just was not meant to be.
Well, I mean, I will say this. Nate, obviously, being a Lions fan, is used to disappointment. So this is all positive for him. It's all positive. Winning once out of 2 even against Ohio State in 1 year is a positive thing. I mean, how many years did Tressel smack that ass? What was it, like 10 years? Yeah. I mean, come on. It was 10 years in a row. If it weren't for freaking tattoos, we'd still be seeing Michigan, fans crying every day.
So question for you guys, Nate and Matt, are you doing a pre-Big Ten championship game, or is this it? Because if this is it, I want only Nate's prediction on the game.
Oh, I think that as far as predictions on this weekend's games, I think that. So here's my dilemma. I think someone is going to lose. I think someone.
Wait, hold on. Back up. So teams are going to play, and somebody's going to lose.
Sorry, say that again.
I think you misspoke.
I think someone USC and TCU, or I feel like one of those teams is going to lose.
They're going to play, and somebody's going to lose.
2 teams are going to play, and someone's going to lose.
Every game this weekend was a tie.
So, but I don't see USC losing to Utah, and I don't see TCU losing to Kansas State for the reasons that Matt pointed out. You've got the backup quarterback at Kansas State. I don't think they're going to win. And at USC, I don't think Utah's going to beat USC. USC's better than they were when they lost to them, and it was by 1 point, an extra point that they had to go for it. It was at Utah. I just don't think. I think. So I'm kind of on the fence, but if I'm choosing, I think Ohio State's out. I don't think they're getting in. I think they're going to get cock blocked by both TCU and by USC winning.
I hate when I agree with Nate. I hate when I agree with Nate because it makes me wonder. Like,
you usually do. You just don't.
He has moments of clarity every once in a while. And
it makes me wonder if my sanity is in question.
There's an 86% chance that one of those 2 teams will lose. So he's right to be concerned. 86%.
Who said that? Who said that? Nate Silver?
Oh, God.
That's what all the odds makers are saying.
86? No way.
Hey, what would the odds makers put that Ohio State-Michigan game at in that spread?
Okay, hold on. Did I miss something? Did Fields play for Alabama at some point? Oh, yeah, he played for Georgia. Okay, good.
Yeah, we already said that.
Yeah, that was the response back to someone saying that Fields played for Alabama.
Yeah, William was helping us with the other comment.
It's about 10 o'clock.
Wait, no, he says, come on. Wait, hold on. Go back. He says, come on, bro. Fields played for Alabama, and then he says he played for Georgia.
Now, that's what he meant to say.
Yeah.
Well, I want that commenter to
35-17.
Send us another message because I don't understand what you just said.
Isn't the show about over?
I know, but what the hell is he saying?
Yeah, 35-17.
Whatever happened to proper grammar and saying.
All right. So who made that comment on that one? I'm going to give him.
That was Darby. I think that was Darby.
So Darby, this is Diego's cell phone number.
Rivera.
Text him. Are you ready? Write this down.
I don't care. No, I'm all for it. My number is 240-432-8989. I welcome all comments
and pictures.
Yes.
No, I don't. If they're dick pics, no, I don't. If it's your wife, maybe.
Okay, that's enough. I'm cutting Diego.
Just make sure that your wife is at least a 5. Okay.
Isn't this over? Can this be over?
All right, so let's
USC does have that
let's tell the audience the next time we're going to be on, so that they know to come live with us, and they don't have to like get a YouTube alert or something.
Do you have social media for this thing, like Instagram?
Nate, when are we going to be on? When are we going to be on next?
That's a good question. I think we're probably going to be on after this weekend, at least maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday. We'll talk about what happened because we're all
start a
making our
Facebook
predictions.
page.
I think we're going to have to start a Facebook page so we can show the viewers exactly what our plans are, and they can be ready for us live and not have to watch us afterwards.
And I think you can go live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
Live on all those.
Yeah,
all those.
Let's do it.
Well, this wasn't painful. It was a little bit longer than I expected, but
you do realize we're still live.
Yeah, I do. That's why I'm saying this, because I think everybody watching this right now feels the same way.
I know what the things I do for you is painful.
Yes.
They won't drop the ball on Purdue. Totally agree.
TCU's come on, down.
Todd. Ohio State draws into the show.
Don't
Here we
give
go.
Matt some hope. Don't buy into that, please. We have to listen to him outside this.
This is MGO Bucks, right? This is an MGO Bucks. It's for both Michigan and Ohio State fans. It's bringing in both those fan bases.
And
there
for
are other people,
Maryland fans. Come on, come on.
No,
yeah, send Diego those picks, please.
So there are Matt supporters out there. There are Matt supporters out there. I know that.
I have not heard from very many of them.
Oh, Ohio State is minus 1,400 to win the title. Put some money on it, Matt.
Use that $1,000 free dollars you got from your gambling site.
Can I address a Darby comment? So Darby says,
not if it's punctuation related.
No, it's not. Darby says, "I'm a woman, strictly sickly."
Okay,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, I want to know what that means. What am I missing here?
Yeah.
I thought she meant strictly speaking, and then I was like, "Whoa!" But she said strictly sickly.
We're going to wrap this up on that nice note from Diego. His public service announcements. We'll end it there. So thanks everyone for joining. Please like and subscribe. We will be back definitely to talk about what happened this weekend. We'll see if Matt is right. He's never right, so don't put money on that. And we'll be back. Thanks everyone. Have a great night.
Go Bucks.
Go Blue.
Terps. Go Terps.